This episode is brought to you by Pine Melon, the farmer's market delivered. They deliver Colorado's freshest local produce straight to your doorstep. Pine Melon is a next-generation grocery delivery app that partners with over 200 local farmers, ranchers, and producers right here in Colorado. So I need dragon fruit, some of those cotton candy grapes. Oh, I love those grapes. Cherries. Is it cherry season? Pine Melon offers same-day delivery to Denver and Boulder within a 2-hour window. No subscription necessary. So support local today and use promo code CityCastDenver for $75 off your first delivery at pinemelon.com.
Today on CityCast Denver, it's summertime. Time to slap on some SPF, drown yourself in bug spray, and check out what this state has to offer. From kayaking in the city to riding horses in the mountains, our host Bree Davies is with two bona fide nature lovers to guide you through a bunch of awesome outdoor adventures. Today is Monday, June 17th. I'm Olivia Jewel Love, and here's what Denver's talking about.
We're stepping into the summer months and there's so much to do outdoors. So where do you start? I'm going to round up some solid recommendations, but I had to bring in two experts because most regular listeners will know I don't like doing things outside unless it involves a pool or the mall. So that's why I'm not the expert in this case, but we're going to start with our politics and green chili correspondent. One of the most Colorado gals I know, Justine Sandoval, is here. Hi, Justine.
What up?
So when we were talking about guest ideas for this show, I just blurted out, Justine just bought a kayak.
I did.
And I was like, but you're also a hiker. You go fishing. You camp. You do everything. And so I'm really excited to hear what you've got lined up. But I also want to hear more about this kayak situation. Because you look like you even got a rack for it, right?
I got a rack. I officially am a Colorado rack girl. I've been using the nice rack joke as much as I can.
It's a good rack. You got a nice rack on that.
It's really hard to put your kayak on the roof. I've figured that out. First, I just tried to put it in the car, but it took up the whole car and I couldn't see out my mirror. So I was like, I better get the rack. Got the rack, and now I don't have any upper body strength. So I started lifting weights in the last few weeks so I can do it myself.
It's really changing your life.
So I thought, do I just need to buy a new car?
Yeah, maybe.
For the kayak, do I just need to go get a truck?
It's time to get a 4Runner.
Well, as long as it's not a Subaru for me, I'm fine. Yeah.
Well, we're also joined by the winner of the 2023 New Faces competition at Comedy Works Denver. He's a fly fishing guide, an outdoor enthusiast, and educator who goes by Black Steve Irwin on Instagram. Eeland Stribling, welcome to CityCast Denver.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can you tell us about your Comedians on the Fly series?
Oh, yeah. Comedians on the Fly is where I just take comics who are in Denver and touring nationally, and I take them fly fishing. So
they are not fly fishing experts to begin with. It's just you.
Which is the reason why it's so fun to do it, because if you take someone who hates the outdoors like yourself, who doesn't like the outdoors, who's also, a headlining comedian, very, very funny person, and they just have stories about doing comedy, and also they just complain about fishing. They have so many questions that I try to, it's like fishing with a toddler who has a way better vocabulary. So it's very fun. And we film a couple episodes every summer and then put them out just for people to enjoy.
I love that because I think it's sometimes just taking someone out of their element gives you a different conversation than you're going to hear from them elsewhere when they don't know anything.
Yeah, and it's mostly anger.
But you seem like a very happy person, so you're fine with
I love
facilitating
it. I sort of push. I'm like a little bit of an antagonizer. I'll take them out when it's a little colder, or even though they don't want to go out. But it's fun. I like seeing people try new stuff. So like the kayaking thing is so cool. That's like, to me, I'm like, that's badass.
That's awesome. Well, this is why we have both of you here. So we're going to break this down into several different categories, but we really were thinking about proximity, right? Like, let's start with something close to the city and then move further out. So we're going to start with city close. Justine, what is your pick for something outdoorsy to do in and around the city?
So my pick for our city outdoors activity, I kept in mind the people who might want to get some nature, but like you aren't looking to climb a 14er or put a kayak on your roof. So my pick was actually a place that I'm always talking about is the Rocky Mountain Arsenal. Here,
Super close.
Super close. It's 8 miles from downtown Denver. It's located behind Dick's Sporting Park Arena.
Park-ish.
Whatever it's called. Sporting Park.
Yeah.
Sporting. Yeah.
I only know it as the place where Fish plays their Fish Sticks show regularly.
Oh my God. Yeah. Fish.
So it's a short drive. I think
super
you can even ride your
short
bike.
drive.
Have
Yes.
you been there, Eeland?
I have been. I go there all the time. That was actually on one of my recommendeds because it is so close and it's like you can see so much wildlife. They have birds. You can go fishing. You can't take your dogs there though because it is like a
It's a wildlife refuge.
Oh, so like
yeah.
probably keeping things safe for
Yeah.
the...
Totally. What's really cool about it is it's 15,988 acres that was formerly a U.S. Army chemical weapons manufacturing area. And I think in 1992, they, Congresswoman Pat Schroeder, shout out to her.
Rest in power.
Yep, rest in power. They declared it a wildlife refuge. And when they were first surveying it before that, they were trying to see if it could be repurposed for people to live on. While they were doing that, they discovered that it was actually home to like over 300 different species. And one of them was the American bald eagle. And it turned out that this area specifically was a big part of their migration pattern. And so they decided to go forward with making it a wildlife refuge. And there's been studies now that since it's been back in action for wildlife, that the bald eagle population has increased. And I know people have been spotting a lot of eagles around town, City Park, Berkeley.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with the conservation that's been going on there. But it's really great. There's lots of trails and it's really great for like people of all ages. If you have kids,
Yes.
elderly, and if you
It's
want,
pretty accessible.
yeah, and you can create longer or shorter trail routes from the trail system there.
Oh, I love that, Eeland. So you're a fan of this spot too.
Oh, I love it. It's a great fishing spot that's open for people and like it's very accessible. You can ride your bike there, drive there. And speaking about the wildlife, it also has black-footed ferrets on it, which was an endangered species that got brought back. And so it's just like if you think about Denver, it is like a urban wildlife area. It's like a corridor. It's beautiful to look at any time of year. It's really cool to be there, and any ages, grandma to little babies, you can enjoy it.
And like I said, you can make it a more intense walk or a shorter walk. There's also a buffalo herd. I forgot the number of buffalo in it, but it's very large, and you'll see the buffalo roaming around.
This is really a diverse area for nature, like different. I mean, bald eagles and buffalo and ferrets. Like,
Yeah.
to think that that's that close to the city is really special.
It's nice.
Eeland, what about you?
So my thing was also I was going to choose the refuge, but another one is actually I like to do this because I fish downtown, and there's actually a kayak park, a water park that's like right downtown. So
Oh, really?
you could like take your kayak, and there's like a little bit of a couple different types of waves. I'm not sure how they classify it, and you can like do tricks and like watch people do water sports right in downtown Denver on the South Platte. So like
That's incredible.
Is it the Confluence Park?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I've seen them.
Right next to the Pepsi Center or Ball Arena. I'm sorry. Right next to Ball Arena, where the South Platte runs by. You can
Shout
like
out
watch
Pepsi.
people jump on the kayak and like do tricks and like practice and
And that's
hang out there.
right in the city. And that's really a beautiful area. They've been cleaning that up over the last couple
Yeah,
of decades
it's really
for
nice.
sure. And they've kind of added some of those, like, I don't know how to describe it, but they've created things
like
so
the
there are waves.
Yeah, like it's like
Yeah.
it's faster and narrower, but there's waves. So yeah, that's like something. And I fish downtown, so there's a lot of good fishing along the South Platte. So sometimes I'll just go and sit and watch, and you just see people watching people kayak, and I'm like, that's so cool that you could theoretically be at work and then walk their kayak to the river, go kayak, and then go back to work.
That's why we love the Rado.
I know it really fits into this idea that we have as like this is why folks move here, right?
Right,
It's really
absolutely.
beautiful and we think about the mountains, but like you can literally go downtown and see people kayaking.
Or fish,
Or
go
fishing.
find birds.
Awesome. Okay, well next we're going to go a little bit farther out, which is something you can do in a day. It may require some travel, but it's a day trip type of thing. Eeland, what's your pick for something outdoorsy for a day trip?
Something outdoorsy for a day trip is one of the things I like is Pawnee National Grasslands. Same sort of thing as the Arsenal, but Pawnee National Grasslands is just like this wild space with beautiful flowers. You can see like burrowing owls, a bunch of birds, a lot of deer. It's like a wild sanctuary. And it takes a day, and you really should do it in a day because the sunrise is beautiful and the sunset there is remarkable because it's sort of on the plains. It's not like really in the foothills. So you kind of get the mountains and like the eastern part of Colorado, which I think is just remarkable. And then the wild animal sanctuary. I have a degree in wildlife biology. So everything I look at, I just go, animals are so cool. so the wildlife sanctuary is really cool because you can literally see animals that were brought here to Colorado or that were like rescued and live in Colorado now. And there's there's bears, there's lions, there's tigers, there's giraffes. There's just like so many animals that's, it's not the zoo. It's not like downtown Denver. It feels a little bit more wild for a younger kid, but it's the diversity of species they have is really cool. And it's like, it's a real rehabilitation place and they're taking care of animals. So.
Have you been there, Justine?
I have not, but I am now intrigued.
It's very cool. It's cool as an adult if you really like animals, but if you have like kiddos to take and you're like, we're going on like a day trip and you can take them down to the wild animal sanctuary and they'll think they're in another world, which is really sweet.
That's what I love, the transportative nature of this is like you can do it in a day, but it truly feels like you're somewhere else outside of Denver.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Justine, what about you? What's your day trip pick?
So for my day trip, some people might not think it's quite a day trip, but I consider it a day trip. For my day trip, I would suggest going to the highest city in Colorado. And no, it's not because of the pots. It's because of the elevation. But
what is I don't even know what it is.
It's Leadville, Colorado.
Oh, of course.
Almost the state capital. They didn't want to be the capital, but that would be weird if Leadville was like the capital. Can you imagine a convention or something
no.
in Leadville?
Too, like you said, it's a little bit of travel.
Yes.
So
it's
travel.
actually listed as the highest incorporated city in the United States, even though there are higher places, even in Colorado. But as a city, it is the highest incorporated city in the country. It's only 2 hours away from Denver, which if you get a good start in the day, it's not too bad of a trek back and forth. If you like climbing 14ers, there's several 14ers within a close distance of Leadville. One of them is Colorado's highest peak, Mount Albert, and also Mount Massive. But if you're not really into that, it's just a great outdoor space.
It's
like
cute town,
quintessential Wild West town. The buildings are really cool. Lots of really good places to eat. There's also the Tabor Opera House there to check out.
So cool.
And, if you want to try some other adventures, there's Top of the Rockies zip lining there. And there's also, if you want to extend your day trip, you can go over Independence Pass during the summer into Aspen, which is an absolutely beautiful
drive.
With very limited time to go over it. So if you're there in the summer, take advantage.
Yeah, it's like a huge mining town. So they have I've been up there. They have like a huge mining history museum, which I never thought I would be interested in mining, but they do a really good job of like curating it to like teach you the history, show you the fun facts. I mean, it's the headwaters of the Arkansas River, so it's Leadville's a really cool place. It's really, really beautiful.
Well, and it helps to like understand the history when you start to understand the geography. So you're out enjoying nature and then you go to the mining museum and you understand like this is truly what brought folks here.
Which is why it was going to be the capital. Yeah.
Yeah, which is wild because like it would be weird if Leadville was
the capital. The Leadville Nuggets. That's what we call them. The Leadville Nuggets.
Doesn't have a good ring to it as much.
Broncos.
Yeah, that would be weird. This episode is brought to you by Central City Opera. Central City Opera's Summer Festival is almost here. Don't miss your opportunity to experience exceptional musical theater and opera in the Central City Opera House. Immerse yourself in this historic 1878 theater's vintage Wild West vibes while taking in shows like Pirates of Penzance, Girl of the Golden West, and Street Scene. Central City Opera is focused on providing opera for the people. It's not just about tuxes and opera glasses, though you're welcome to dress up if you want to. I have this prom dress from the 90s that I need an excuse to wear again, but it's like this iridescent peach color and I have no other place to wear it. And I think the Central City Opera House would be perfect. But this is Colorado. Folks are welcome to come in jeans and flannels if they want. You can find tickets and a performance schedule at centralcityopera.org/citycast. Book tickets by June 30th and use the code CITYCAST at checkout for 20% off all performances after July 18th. Again, book using code CITYCAST at centralcityopera.org/citycast. This episode is brought to you by Young People for All People, a leading voice for young people in Colorado focused on building the next generation's power. Primary election day is June 25th. But hold up, What is a primary election and how can you vote? Head to neweraColoradoAction.org for a one-stop shop of all the information you need to vote in your party's primary election by 7 p.m. on June 25th. In Colorado, it's never too late to register to vote. You can register to vote or update your registration at a voter service center in your county. Just be in line by 7 p.m. on Election Day. And yes, students can vote as long as they've lived in Colorado for at least 22 days before Election Day. So as long as you've lived in Colorado since June 3rd, you're good to vote. Find out if you have the chance to vote for a youth agenda champion in the Denver area on June 25th by visiting neweraColoradoAction.org. This ad is brought to you by Young People for All People, a leading voice for young people in Colorado focused on building the next generation's power. This ad is also paid for by Young People for All People, Christina Solis, registered agent. This ad is not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Okay, finally, we're looking at something outdoorsy within the whole state. It could be an overnight trip, a weekend adventure, kind of whatever you want. Eeland, what did you pick?
I picked more of an experience. I did this last year, and I fell in love. There was a young lady who lives outside Longmont, but she takes people on backpacking horsing trips along the Flat Tops Wilderness up in Colorado.
Wow.
And her name was Emma Brown, but she like runs this service, and she like picks you up. She has all the horses. She like teaches you how to ride. She has like really good horses, and then you just take this like most insane, epic, like beautiful, like backcountry trail on horses, and you get to like cover so much ground, and you see so much wildlife because you're on horses. You're not like making a lot of noise, people talking, driving cars or whatever. And like I've lived in Colorado my entire life, but last summer I was like, man, this place is remarkable. Like it was just like I really fell in love with Colorado just on this trip. So I would say anything where you could like go on a horseback trip or like go kind of get lost in the woods. Like Ouray, Colorado is one of the prettiest places
gorgeous.
I've been. And they have, it's a small town. It's not much to do. They have like a lot of like nice shops, but just going up there for, a day or a couple of days is remarkable. Maybe not a day because it's a long drive, but a couple of days is.
But I love the
remarkable.
horseback idea though, because like you said, it kind of like immerses you in a different way that you don't get when there's a
Right.
ton of cars and people around, like driving up to a trailhead and all of that
And
stuff.
just hopping out and going. And then even, seeing a lot of people, like we didn't see any people on our trip. Emma did a great, it was just like she had like food
Isn't that
for us.
crazy
She had
though, thinking
snacks.
about how many people are here and you don't?
Didn't see a single soul all day, just us horses and like birds and elk. And it was like we crossed like a river. I was like, I'm exploring the West.
I love that. That's my goal being in nature, seeking isolation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I like to do like local closer trails during the week, but my goal when I'm out there, is finding some solitude. That's why I like San Luis Valley. So isolated.
perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. But also like growing up here, I remember hiking and stuff and being like, oh, my ancestors. I wonder what that was like. But I feel like riding a horse in camping would
You
feel
really
that
can feel
fantasy
it.
in my
Yeah.
mind, like really feel the West. Like,
Yeah. It
But
was,
then you can go back and
Yeah.
we don't have to do
Drive
any of the-
home.
and you don't have to walk that far because I'm kind of lazy. So I was like, the horses are going to do all the work. I just
That's
kind
what
of
I was
hang
thinking. I
out.
was like, this actually sounds enticing to me because I don't
Yeah.
have to hike.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it's so cool. So it was fun. It was an amazing
It's
trip.
also cool, like the three of us grew up here. Finding something that we haven't experienced before can feel rare sometimes.
Yeah.
But having that moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I've actually never felt this or seen this in this way. I'm seeing it from horseback.
Right. Yeah.
It's
special.
That's so great. Justine, what's your day trip, weekend trip, your longer trip somewhere across the state?
So my long trip is the Black Canyon of the Gunnison,
Oh,
which is one of Colorado's 4 national parks that we have
Yes.
here. And it is actually the least visited of our national parks. It's one of the least visited in the country, which is a shame because it is gorgeous. Like that pun there. But like just in comparison, there were about 297,000 visitors for them in 2022 compared to like 4.5 million that went to Rocky Mountain National Park.
Yeah.
So, but it is truly gorgeous. They're the steepest cliffs in Colorado there. It's called the Black Canyon because they are so steep. Light has a hard time hitting the canyon walls, so they appear to be black. But yeah, it is the isolation for me. Like I said, there's not a lot of people there. That's what I'm looking for some good Colorado fun in the summertime. And it's a trek. but it is also near some very gorgeous places and some really cool places you can stop off on the way. One little town of Paonia, Colorado is a place that I really suggest for people to visit if they're down that way. But there's lots of area. There's also the town of Montrose, which I have not been to Montrose in a long time, but I heard that there's been a lot of new things coming into the town. So yeah, I definitely suggest that because you can mark it off of your national parks list. The crowd isn't crazy, and it's really a lot of options for people. You can drive down to the bottom of the canyon. There's different camping, but if you are like an expert hiker, there are some really great intense hikes where you can hike down
levels
yourself. Exactly.
For people's like enticement, like if you want to drive down, but if you want to really make it, like a strenuous activity, you can do that.
And then there's other areas around there like the Blue Mesa, but it's a really great part of the state that doesn't always get driven through directly, and you kind of got to go out of your way to get down there. So that is why I suggest it as my longer trip, and I think we need to go give it some love, but not too much. Don't make it too fast.
This is a fishing place. Am I?
Oh, it's a remarkable fishing place, but I would say be careful during the summer because right now it's actually closed. Because the water is
levels
so high. So
just watch for the water levels.
May and June. So just Google like Gunnison River or like Black Canyon. Safe to not even fish, but like safe to wade or whatever. And there's a bunch of stuff saying like, hey, we'll let you know when it's clear and stuff like that. But it's a stunning thing. I've actually hiked down there and did some camping. And when you go there, there's not that many people anyway. But when you hike, you don't see anyone else because it's a little bit of an intense hike, but it's remarkable. It's beautiful.
I feel like I have an aunt and uncle that fish a lot, and I feel like that's one of their favorite spots too.
The Black Canyon.
That was one of my grandpa's favorite spots to go when we were younger.
So there's a lot of different things that you can do while you're down there. Maybe make a couple of days out of it.
Mm-hmm. Stop in Gunnison on the way down, or what's the place? Taylor River Lodge. There's like a little Taylor River Lodge that runs right before Gunnison. It's like a little nice restaurant where some older folks who are just like the sweetest people. So.
Slow everything down.
Which is nice.
Take your time.
Nice about the small mountain towns. It seems like people aren't as much as a rush as in Denver.
Totally. That like chill.
Yeah.
Oh, this sounds so nice.
I know.
And I can drive to this one.
Yes.
So
are all these things making you excited to get outside, or are you still like?
I was like, my husband's gonna listen to this and be like, all right, because he's always like, we're camping. I'm like, no, we're not. And we have a 3-year-old who wants to go camping so bad. So. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you guys have turned the tide for me a little bit.
Just once, yeah.
These are all great recommendations, you guys. Like really different, diverse things. If you want to take a 10-minute drive or you want to make a weekend out of it, we got something out of it. This was so awesome. Well, as always, I'd love to hear from you, our dear listeners. We would love to know what your fave outdoor Colorado activities are. You can give us a call on the All Outdoors All the Time hotline, 720-500-5418. Again, you can text us or leave us a voicemail at 720-500-5418 or shoot us an email, denver@citycast.fm, and let us know where you like to go around the state to do outdoorsy fun stuff in the summer. Eeland, Justine, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had fun. This was great.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed the show, why not take a minute to tell a black-footed ferret about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Denver, and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city, and Bree will be back soon. See ya!